This episode of Bouts Talking Bouts is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Winning parlays, if you're looking for them in BKFC, you got to be checking out BK Bet Shark. Here's the thing, $50 buys, you get a personalized bet slip. It's based on your own budget. You can be flexible. It is what works for you. And this guy's got the receipts. You can check out all the winning tickets. You can peep them, and you can do so at Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Check him out on Instagram and get with it. Got them personalized betting slips going on, $50 buys. All right, on this episode of Bare Knuckle Radio, very excited to be talking to an individual who competes at BKFC 52, which goes down on October the 20th. We have Brandon Bushaw knuckling up and towing the line against Joshua Marer, and great having Josh on the show for the first time. How's your day going there, man? You having a solid one so far?
It's going great. I'm just ready to fight. I hate being ready and just sitting here waiting.
Yeah, like what's the point in your training camp where you just feel like really raring to go, like everything's like in alignment with your fitness and you're just looking to like really get out there and do the thing? Is there like a particular point in the camp where you really start getting that sensation, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, when my cardio is going, I'm going 10, 15 rounds of sparring, and I still got energy for days. Like when just everything just seems to be on point, like physically, cardio-wise, weight-wise. I mean, I do a little bit of cuts, so once I get to weight, I like to be comfortable. So after a while, that part wears on you. But other than that, like everything's great. So once I get there, I stay ready, and I'll be getting there quicker and quicker. So
yeah, I mean, great to hear. And this seems like a big moment for sure. Like I saw the post talking about how this fight has been years in the making, and I actually talked to Brandon Bushaw the other day about that, like how you guys were supposed to fight in MMA a few years ago at a King of the Cage event. Can you kind of give like a bit of the backstory and expound upon that from your perspective there? Because it seems like, you know, like I'm saying, a fight that's been building up for a decent while now.
So we were supposed to fight, and the day before, everything was on point, everything was perfect. I don't know what happened, but the day before we were supposed to start our weight cut, I was gonna just move around and shadow box and stuff, and so I was stretching first, and it was so weird. I pulled my leg all the way back and stretched, and everything was fine, but when I straightened it back out, I actually tore everything in my ankle, and my ankle swelled up like a balloon. I'm like, no. I was as ready for that fight as I was ever going to be. I believe we were cutting to 135, and that was one of the last few times I even tried to cut to 135, or I believe it was a catch weight of 140. And it was just a freak thing. My legs swelled up. I know Brandon was extremely upset, and I would be too, being that close to a fight and being ready, and just the day before weigh-ins, it just, you know. But since then, I always thought Brandon was going to be a fun fight, and I've been in his inbox asking him to fight for a while, and I'm just happy he finally just giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, is it like a stylistic thing where you're thinking this is going to be like a very exciting fight, like just both of you guys matching up well?
It would have been more exciting for him because he can wrestle, and that's his forte. You know, he's not a striker by any means. He's got power. He's tough. He's willing to throw. He wants to be in the exchanges. I respect and love all of that, you know. But stylistically, I'm way ahead of him in striking. My fight IQ is way ahead of him. I mean, to be honest with you, if we wrestled, I mean, he might be a great wrestler, but I don't think he's gonna necessarily would beat me at wrestling either. But I mean, he agreed to this rule set, and this rule set benefits me. You know, I hope he hasn't had any opponents at BKFC that were going to test him. His fights ended pretty quickly, but the opponents that he had that dropped him, like both fights, like barely touched him, and they never followed up after that, and just, you know, and I felt like I scrambles, and I'm going to set him up for openings, and he's got a lot of them because he's not a striker.
Yeah, an interesting fight in a lot of, different regards for sure. And it seems like you're getting in a lot of really good rounds leading into this one. Like I saw a picture the other day of you with Joe Elmore and everything like that. So it seems like some really top-notch work is being had for sure.
Yes. Joe Elmore will be cornering me in this fight. It's interesting though because Ace Samples, I believe, corners Brandon Bushaw, but Brandon Bushaw and Ace have been training together, but we're all friends. Like Ace Samples and I are good friends too, and so and Brandon Bushaw is a good friend to them. So mutually, I think we all have a beer. I think everything's cool. But when I'm in the ring, I've been planning to hurt Brandon for a while. So.
Yeah, and that was kind of the vibe I got with Joe when I spoke to him before his Dustin Paige fight as well. And it did seem like a mutual kind of thing where it's like there is that friendship and playfulness almost, but it's like we're going to throw down when we get in the ring. So love to see it.
Yeah, Joe's, on a personal level, Joe's such a great guy. He's such a family guy. He's such a friend guy. Like he's like family for sure. But even when we're sparring and stuff like that, he pushes you, and he was pushing me this camp, and so that there's no hard feelings, but when we're out there, I'm there to work, I've been, this isn't a friendly game. Like we can be all cool after, we can be cool up to it. I don't really care, but when we get in there, we're all professionals. We've been doing this a very long time. It's not personal. It's just, it's you're standing in the way of something I want. So.
Yeah, and I'm curious because, before BKFC, noticing you've got experience in a couple combat sports, like about 15 or so amateur and professional MMA fights per Tapology, and also Muay Thai kickboxing experience. Like, how much do you, there's obvious elements that are, taken out, like the leg kicks and certain things, but how much does the Muay Thai and MMA experience benefit you just functioning in that active clinch BKFC rule set?
So the Muay Thai background, bare knuckle, we get to use clinch. So I know Brandon's been in a few exchanges, and being a wrestler, I'm not surprised if he wants to clinch or tie up with me. Wrestlers are more of a tie up, and he'll frame with his head. But I have the same experience, but my Muay Thai and my plums are pretty good. If he wants to tie up with me, I think I can hurt him really fast. I'm a lot quicker than he is. He's throwing a lot of power behind his punches, and he's not thinking of where they're landing. He's just trying to land, which, he's coming to brawl, and I'm coming to dance and work. I'm trying to. If we get in those exchanges, I think I'm going to be more technical with my brawling than he is. So. The MMA aspect really doesn't help. Up against the ropes and stuff like that, if you want to push somebody up there and work off of that, I don't have a set game plan. I'm going to take it as it comes and be open. Normally I come with a set game plan, and it's out the window when the opponent does something else. So this one, I know where his strengths and his weaknesses are, and I'm just going to look for openings.
Yeah, because even though it's a different game, ultimately, I feel like you've had this guy on your radar on a game planning level for a bit, just with that aforementioned MMA booking that fell out.
Yeah, basically, the game plan changes between MMA and striking, obviously, but, it's bare knuckle, man. Anything can happen, so you just got to be ready for anything. When you're not ready for everything, you get hit by the one that you didn't see, and that one's the one that rocks you,
Yeah, for sure, and I love the way you're breaking it down. It kind of seems similar to, the language you were using in, a previous article I saw on you. As much as, there is obvious skill level in the sport. There is a certain combination of it being like a bit of a tough man kind of game too, and like immersing yourself in the nitty gritty. So it's cool to see that like combination of both, just realizing like what kind of goes into this sport and everything.
Yes, sir.
And it just seems like you're in an interesting spot here. I'm kind of curious to, I mean, even just briefly get the thoughts on the debut, because I thought that was kind of interesting, like as you're entering your fourth bare knuckle fight here. Like I saw you made your bare knuckle debut in Russia, and it was like, you know, pretty soon before like everything with the Ukraine, like the war there broke out. Like what was it?
Before the invasion.
Yeah, literally the day before.
USA versus Team Russia on the holiday of their Red Army. So, I think it was an interesting timing, but...
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was it like being there and just the whole experience with the fight and all of that, and I guess like the aftermath?
They took extremely good care of us when we were there. I mean, we ate good, we were safe, like we were they showed us Moscow, they took us to the Red Square, we did a lot of commercials. I mean, it was a little weird when we got there, like right off, when we got off the plane after being jet lagged and flying for over 24 hours. We get there, we're still in our plain clothes, but we drop our bags off, and they're like, we gotta film commercials now and get commercials of you guys sparring each other. I'm like, sparring each other? Like, we fight in a couple days. But you want all the Americans to fight each other on camera before we fight you guys? No, but it was a good experience. I mean, they took the crowd out there. They weren't just cheering for their own people. They were cheering just as strongly when I walked out as when my opponent walked out. I fought a two-time, at that time, now he might be a three-time world champion. He's their 55-pound title champion right now for bare knuckle. At that time, he was a 17-time Dagestan boxing champion, and yeah, that was my bare knuckle debut. So I'm not worried about who I fight in front of me. It really comes down, I mean, to just being focused and prepared. My opponent, my first opponent for BKFC, Brandon Allen. I mean, you've seen his fights recently. He's an amazing striker. You know, I believe he's in the top 5 of in BKFC right now.
He is, yeah.
And my last opponent, Brandon Barnard, he came in as a little bit of unknown, but he's fought around the world in like 4 different organizations out of his weight class and got first round knockouts. So I'm not fighting like, I've never had an easy fight, you know. I've always fought tough people, and I've done well and put on exciting fights for each one of them. I feel like Brandon's going to have a crowd with him in this fight. I mean, a lot of his fans are also my fans, but since we're in his hometown, I'm not surprised to see a big crowd for him. I am bringing my people too, you know. I think that Brandon's going to actually have a tough fight this time, and I think that this is going to be a really good fight for me.
Yeah, for sure, and I don't want to, like, I guess, misconstrue or mischaracterize something you were saying earlier, but the impression I was kind of getting was it was almost like you were maybe looking at his opposition as maybe not on the same caliber as yours, per se, because, like, we're talking about Brandon Allen being a ranked guy now in BKFC and John Barnard and etc. So do you think, I guess, like, the quality of your bare knuckle resume up until this point will kind of reveal itself in the fight, like, be a meaningful variable, you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of people that, other than the fans that are just watching because they want to see it, but they don't know. They just look at on paper, you know. On paper, he looks undefeated. He looks like a tough opponent. I'm not saying that he's not tough. I'm saying he's never been battle tested, and he knows it. He's asking for a fight that's gonna go the distance. He's asking for a fight where he's gonna actually get to have exchanges and not put his opponent away so easily, you know. I'm really happy that, you know, he's allowing me to deliver that to him. I just don't think it's going to go his way at all. I mean,
Yeah, and I mean, you were supposed to also fight like Tony Soto earlier this year too. So just another example of like the gamesmanship and just willing to, fight whoever. Another guy that's now ranked in BKFC also.
I like tough, exciting fights. I know I'm at that level. I just need an opportunity to prove it. The Tony Soto, that was an unfortunate one too. I had an infection that was affecting my balance, and I couldn't hear out of my ear for about a month, and it was bad, and my ear was swollen. So my doctor said the ultimate decision because my balance was off. It wasn't safe for me to fight. So, would I fight a matchup with Tony Soto again? Of course, yeah. If I ever get that opportunity, I'd love to. He puts on exciting fights, and I feel like that last one with Tyler Goodjohn, he was actually pushed, and we saw where he breaks,
Yeah, for sure. Definitely could be a matchup that comes to fruition at a later point, too. So just an interesting...
Get through a couple of guys, but...
Yeah, no, for sure. But I guess just even seeing some of the previous articles and just what your goals and motivations are in the sport, like, you seem very focused on the idea of getting to, like, a rankings position and I guess presumably becoming a champion thereafter. Like, obviously talking in a broader kind of timeline. But, fair to say also, because I think there are some fighters in the sport who are more motivated by, I guess, the prize part of prize fighting, which is also fair, but yeah.
I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it because I love doing it, and I just want to be the best I can be, I want to be I just want to prove it, and BKFC is starting to build some pretty gnarly divisions, especially in the lightweight and featherweight, and bantamweight starting to form up, but the lightweight and the featherweight and the ones, all the divisions are just starting to really, really have some solid competition, So these guys are great fighters, and all these guys that are popping up, I have to work my way through them. So.
Yeah, wholeheartedly agree with like the depth and the fact that divisions are ever expanding for sure. But it seems like quite the athletic family there. I was seeing your son there and everything, ripping some baseball. It looked like you were pretty proud, understandably. It looked like Caden was ripping a double and getting right into baseball season. Like, how cool is it to kind of see like your kids kind of endeavor to, get into their own athletics? It must be cool.
Yeah, I'm not pushing my kids to do anything. Like, I've had them train jiu-jitsu. I've had them, my daughter's done a little boxing, but they want to do what they want to do, and I want to push them to be whatever they feel like they're going to be successful at. My son's killing it at baseball. My daughter's on travel gymnastics team. She's 6 years old with 13-year-old girls, and she's extremely good, and that's her passion. And I'm really happy to expand on that because, my wife's a great athlete too. She does powerlifting and stuff, and she's amazing. So I think all together we kind of all push each other to try to be the best we can. So our family dynamic now really does work for us.
Yeah, I love hearing that. That must be great. Like, you're all doing your own things, but a lot of like commonality more than there is difference, and obviously love to see the support there. So that's great to hear, man.
Yeah. My kids kind of grew up seeing fight camp. My kids, that's all they know is that fight camps and how they go, and so they kind of treat when they have competitions a little bit more focused like that. So I think it's good because it teaches them how to be an athlete, not just do sports.
Yeah, well said, for sure, man. And I guess one of the last things I wanted to touch on, I'm always curious about like the backstories of fighter nicknames, your nickname being Danger. I'm kind of curious, like, who gave you the moniker and what inspired all that?
That one was come from, like, it's kind of something that started out, like, a long time ago and it's kind of stuck. I used to have a different past life, and it kind of stuck from that. When it carried over to fighting, like, it just kind of works just because of my fighting style and my pressure and the way I engage, and I've always been fights kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of inform the, fighting style, and just, there's a certain sense of, I gotta check out, what this guy's getting up to, his next throwdown, and everything.
Yeah.
No, for sure, that does make sense, though, man, and it's been great getting to have you on ahead of this fight, but just want to be mindful of your time as well, Josh, so curious if maybe there's any final parting thought you want to add as we're kind of wrapping up, man.
No, I'm just, Brandon's listening, prepare for an exciting fight. I'm excited. I've been looking forward to this, and I know you have been too. I know a lot of these fans that know us personally are excited for this, and it's going to be a great night. There's a bunch of good fights on the card, so I can't wait to see the other ones as well.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a stacked card at BKFC 52, and very excited to see your Brandon Bushaw fight on October the 20th, man. But until then, you have a good rest of your day, and thank you for the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
This episode of Bouts Talking Bouts is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Winning parlays, if you're looking for them in BKFC, you got to be checking out BK Bet Shark. Here's the thing, $50 buys, you get a personalized bet slip. It's based on your own budget. You can be flexible. It is what works for you. And this guy's got the receipts. You can check out all the winning tickets. You can peep them, and you can do so at Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Check him out on Instagram and get with it. Got them personalized betting slips going on, $50 buys.